Sometimes the people we love ask us strange questions, questions that seem harmless until the day you realize they weren't hypothetical at all. This is a story about devotion, about what happens when love goes past the point of reason and slips quietly into madness. I received this recording a few months ago. No name, no return address, just a flash drive labeled with a single sentence: "Would you still love me?" The file inside was dated 5 years ago. If what you're about to hear is real, then maybe love can survive anything, even death. My wife used to ask me strange questions. They always came late at night when the lights were off and the only sound in the house was our breathing. She'd whisper it against my shoulder. Would you still love me if I wasn't me anymore? I used to laugh. I thought it was one of those harmless hypotheticals people in love ask each other. Of course, I'd say. She'd squint at me for a moment, studying my face, then nod like she was satisfied. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. But after everything that's happened, I think she was trying to prepare me. Her name was Lila. She was the kind of person who made silence feel full. She could sit across from you, say nothing, and somehow the air would feel alive. She had her quirks: refused to kill bugs, apologized to trees when we went hiking, and slept on the left side of every bed we ever owned. And she always wore a rosary. Always. She wasn't religious, not really. She called it her armor. She'd keep it under her shirt or wrapped twice around her wrist, like a bracelet. Once we were halfway to a friend's wedding when she realized she'd left it at home. We turned around without saying a word. When I asked why it mattered so much, she told me it kept her safe, kept her whole. Then she said something I didn't understand until much later. It reminds me that something once gave me back my life. When she was 14, her entire family died in a car accident. Everyone but her. She told me she'd crawled out of the wreckage with only scratches, that she'd looked back and seen her parents still inside. She said the rosary had been hanging from the rearview mirror, and when she put it around her neck, the fire had gone out. She never went to church after that. But she never took it off either. She was the one who suggested the retreat, said we needed time away from the noise, the schedules, the endless notifications. She'd already found the place, a small cabin, deep in the woods, near a lake that wasn't on any map. The photos looked ordinary. Old furniture, narrow rooms, a dock over still water. Something about it made me uneasy, though I couldn't say why. When I asked her what made her choose it, she smiled. I just want to feel air that hasn't passed through a vent. The drive out took almost a full day. As the roads narrowed and the forest thickened, she grew quieter. She let her hand hang out of the window, her hair catching the wind. When the cabin finally came into view, dark wood, small windows, roof sagging slightly, she whispered, "Once we get here, I won't want to come back." We both laughed. She said it like a joke, but when the light faded and the trees swallowed the horizon, the air around the cabin felt heavy, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. That night, we lit a fire and sat together on the floor. She fell asleep with her head on my shoulder, her breathing slow and even. I stayed awake long after the flames died, watching the shadows move across her face. It felt like the world outside had stopped existing. We started the trail the next morning. She was excited, practically glowing, while I was still shaking off the cold. The path wound behind the cabin, half hidden by ferns. There was no marker, no sign, just a faint track in the soil. It didn't look like it led anywhere. We walked in silence for a long time. The forest was beautiful in that lonely way old places are, but something about it felt wrong. The air grew warmer the deeper we went. The sounds faded. Even the birds seemed to vanish. By midday we found it, a small clearing where the trees bent inward around a circle of stone. In the center, a pool of water, perfectly still, perfectly round. Not a ripple, not a leaf, not a reflection out of place. I crouched beside it, expecting to feel cold when I reached out. But the water was warm, almost hot, thick too, like oil. It clung to my fingers before sliding off, leaving a shimmer that caught the light wrong. It didn't look natural. Lila stared at it like she was seeing something familiar. Then, without saying a word, she reached for her necklace. "I don't want it to corrode," she said softly. She folded the rosary into a cloth and laid it on a rock beside the pool. She smoothed it flat with both hands, anchoring it carefully. Then she stepped into the water. It accepted her instantly, no splash, no ripple, like the pool had been waiting for her. When I followed the surface, resisted me pushing back against my legs before letting me through. It was like walking through honey, warm, suffocating honey. She smiled at me from the center of the pool. "See," she said, "it's beautiful." And it was, for a moment. Then I realized the light wasn't from the sun. It was coming from below. Something beneath the water was glowing faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Lila," I said, but she had already closed her eyes. We left the pool before dark. By the time we returned to the cabin, the air had turned cold again. She said she felt dizzy, so I helped her into bed. Her skin was clammy, her pulse too fast. I brushed the hair from her face, kissed her forehead, and told her to rest. That night, while she slept, I remembered the rosary. We'd left it by the water. When I found the cloth on the nightstand, neatly folded, I felt a brief surge of relief until I realized the necklace wasn't inside it. The rosary was gone. I asked her about it in the morning. She sipped her tea, her hand trembling slightly. "It's just a thing," she said. "I'll get another one." That stopped me cold. She'd never called it just a thing before. Her eyes didn't meet mine when she said it. That evening, she complained of a headache. Her voice sounded distant, hollow. She fell asleep early, curled up on her side. I lay awake beside her, watching the shadows move across the ceiling. When I finally drifted off, I woke to cold sheets. Her side of the bed was empty. The blanket was smooth, untouched. The lamp still glowed faintly, its light dim and yellow. I called her name. No answer. I checked the bathroom, the kitchen, the porch. Nothing. By the time I realized she wasn't in the cabin, I was already running barefoot down the trail, shouting her name into the dark. And then I saw her. She stepped out from between the trees like she'd been waiting. Her hair was tangled, her feet bare, her expression calm. "I just wanted to see the spring again," she said softly. "It was so warm. Don't you remember how warm it was?" Her voice was steady, but something about it didn't sound right. There was a delay, like hearing an echo of her words before she spoke them. She reached for my hand. I hesitated. For the first time, I felt afraid of her. Over the next few days, she got better. The fever disappeared. Her energy returned. She even laughed again. But it wasn't the same. Her laugh came too late, like she was remembering how to do it. Her eyes didn't follow mine when we talked. Her skin was cold, even in sunlight. Sometimes I'd wake in the night and realize she wasn't breathing. Her chest stayed perfectly still until I touched her shoulder. Then suddenly, she'd inhale sharp and mechanical, like someone restarting a clock. I tried to tell myself it was stress exhaustion, anything but what I knew deep down. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that the woman in the bed beside me wasn't my wife anymore. I made her a gift, a rosary from pieces of driftwood I found by the lake. It wasn't pretty, but it was something. A tether. When I gave it to her, she looked at it for a long time. Then she said, "I don't need things like that," and walked away. That night, she told me she wanted to go home. Her tone was flat, almost rehearsed. "We should go tomorrow," she said. When I reminded her how much she'd wanted this trip, she just stared out the window and repeated, "I want to go home." Her reflection didn't move when she did. I don't know what time the knocking started. Sometime after 3, maybe later. The sound was heavy, wet, deliberate. It shook the door on its hinges, then stopped. Then came again. I sat up in bed. She didn't move. A third knock rattled the window glass. Still she didn't stir. I crept down the hallway. The air felt wrong, too thick to breathe. When I opened the door, I thought for a second that I was dreaming. It stood beneath the porch light, tall, too tall. Its skin shimmered like it was coated in liquid. Its face, or what should have been a face, was divided by deep, trembling seams that pulsed faintly with light. Its mouth opened in slow, wet motions, revealing a tongue that writhed like something independent. And then it spoke. "Wait. Please." The sound wasn't human. It was broken, bubbling, like words being forced through water. I slammed the door and ran. When I burst into the bedroom, she was lying flat beneath the covers, her eyes open, staring at the ceiling. "Lila," I whispered. She didn't blink. The wood cracked in the hallway. The creature was inside now. I grabbed the handmade rosary from the table and threw it. It hit the thing's chest and bounced to the floor. It didn't even flinch. Then it turned toward the bed. Before I could move, it lunged. The bed frame splintered, the mattress caved. Her body convulsed beneath it. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. Then a noise, shrill and layered, filled the room. A sound I didn't think a human throat could make. Her skin peeled away in sheets. Her bones shifted bent. The air filled with a stench like rust and rot and something electric. When it ended, there was nothing left of her, just a dark, glistening mass sinking into the mattress. I couldn't scream. I couldn't even breathe. And then the thing turned to me. It moved slowly, its body trembling with each breath. Then it spoke again, quieter this time, its voice clearer, almost familiar. "I'm sorry," it said. "I didn't know how else to show you." Its chest heaved. Something pushed its way out from beneath the flesh, a small, delicate object falling to the floor between us. A rosary. The real one. I remember everything it whispered. I would never leave this behind. Its voice broke. "I'm so scared." I looked at the thing kneeling before me, this trembling, broken creature, and for the first time I saw her. I saw Lila. I burned the sheets that night. I scrubbed the floor until the stains faded. And when morning came, I stayed. We stayed. She doesn't speak much anymore. Her body moves differently now, slower, quieter joints, bending at angles that hurt to watch. When she cries, the tears cling to her skin in long, glassy strands. When I hold her, they stick to my arms. I don't pull away. Every morning, I make her tea the same blend she used to love. She drinks it from a bowl now. Her mouth doesn't work the same way. Sometimes she tells me stories, little things from our past. The hotel that smelled like cinnamon. the song we danced to in a parking lot. She remembers them all. Some nights, I watch her from across the room. The firelight flickers over what's left of her face, and for a moment, just a heartbeat, I see her as she was. And when she smiles, it's not human anymore. The skin stretches too far. The mouth opens in the wrong direction. But it's still her smile, and I love her for it. So yes, if you're still wondering, I would love my wife no matter what she was. Because when you've lost everything that made sense, love is the only thing left that feels real. Even when it isn't. That recording ended there. No follow-up, no explanation. The cabin mentioned in the story was later found half collapsed, swallowed by the forest. No bodies were recovered. But a week after the cleanup, park rangers found something washed up on the nearby lakeshore. A rosary, old silver, the metal eaten away by time. When they picked it up, they said it felt warm. Somewhere out there in those same woods, people still talk about hearing a voice at night, a woman's voice whispering softly, "Would you still love me if I wasn't me anymore?" If you ever hear it, don't answer.